Microsoft still hasn't seemingly learned about timing. It's all in the timing of what you're doing. And again, today's news couldn't have come at a worse time for Microsoft, and it couldn't have come at a worse time for Redfall, as this game is in the hype train, getting hyped up, and people were already looking negatively at it due to the poor gameplay on IGN. So now we have this situation where Microsoft, and again, I want to point out that there is a few hypocrisies here. One thing is, Microsoft is really damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they delay the game, people are going to make the same argument. Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. That's what they're saying right now, that the game is launching at 30 frames per second. Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. So what is the winning play here? And the truth be told is, there is no winning play for Microsoft. Somebody might go, oh, well, just, launch the game when it's ready. Well, again, everybody wants these release dates locked in. And game development is always on a moving scale. It's like trying to figure out, where the dart's going to land on which balloon, right? You don't really know. It could be anywhere. So it is unfortunate. I want to get into this though and talk about it. Obviously, it's a topic that a lot of people are talking about. No damage control on my part. I think that it's foolish. What they're doing, and I will get into it as well. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like the video. I'm looking to get 100 likes on each of the videos that I do. Would be greatly appreciated. Again, 100 likes seems like a lot, but it's really not. So I'm hoping that that I can get some kind of traction here. Would be pretty cool if that could happen. So thank you guys very, very much. Now, again, this is very much a situation where Microsoft has kind of screwed themselves, and it might not even be Microsoft. So Bethesda kind of runs Bethesda still. But apparently Redfall won't have a 60 frames option performance mode on Xbox at launch. It's going to be added via an update later. They didn't even give any information about when. Like, is it a month later, a week later, 3 months later? Nothing like that. So instead, it'll be added via a game update at a later date. The game's official Twitter account added at launch. The Xbox Series versions of the games will include a quality mode only, with Series X supporting 4K 30 frames, Series S offering 1440p 30 frames. Redfall is an open-world FPS game playable solo or with a team of up to 4 players. In co-op, it sees players battling to defeat a legion of vampires who have cut the quaint island town of Redfall, Massachusetts, off from the outside world. At launch, a persistent online connection, or DRM, will be required for single-player and co-op, although developer Arcane Studios recently confirmed it's looking into removing the requirement for solo players to be always connected online. This is what the Redfall Twitter account said. It's only launching on Xbox consoles with quality mode. Performance mode will be added via an update later. Following the delay from the previous planned 2022 launch, publisher Microsoft recently launched and announced that Redfall will release date of May 2nd on Xbox, alongside the details of a special pre-order bonus. The Bite Back edition will include the Hero Pass, which will provide access to 2 future heroes and a throwback outfit, featuring a unique outfit and backpack for each of the 4 heroes inspired by their lives before the events of the game. It'll also come with a laser beam, a multi-weapon skin, and the tactical knife stake attachment. So players who pre-order Redfall or play the game on Xbox Game Pass will receive the Vampire Hunter pack. It will include the exclusive Grimtide shotgun, which grants 20% increased damage for 8 seconds after killing an enemy, a weapon, a Polar Vortex weapon, a Blood Ravager stake weapon, and then a Redfall preview published last month. This site, VGC, said it's an utterly engrossing single-player experience, which is shaping up to be the studio's strongest shooter to date. Now, the interesting thing here is that, unfortunately, IGN was running some footage of Redfall, and the player was not up to snuff, and the game, whatever they were doing, did not look like what we had been seeing previously. So it was kind of unfortunate that was what we were kind of having to see. And people kind of spoke up. And again, this is what I'm going to say. To me, it's unacceptable to launch with only the 30 frames option. I think you have to offer a 60 frames option. Delay it a few months if you have to. Yes, people are going to talk bad, but they're already talking bad about it. and, you know, delay it, make sure it comes back with the no DRM for the online for the single player, and make sure that players can have the option to play 60 frames, because you have an Xbox Series X that you've hyped up and said that, you know, the standard frame rate is going to be 60 frames. I understand that sometimes there's things that come up, like, you know, you had the flight simulator that could only run 30. It is what it is. And I'm sure, right, because I saw a lot of the PlayStation fanboys talk about this, and a lot of them are talking about it. I screenshotted a lot of it where everybody was kind of like making fun of this. And for me personally, I think we will see some you know, games running at 30 frames per second. Like, that's just going to be something that happens, unfortunately, because we're getting out of the cross-gen phase. So according to Digital Foundry anyway, cross-gen stuff, if it runs 30 frames per second on last-gen hardware, it could run 60 frames per second on this hardware. If it ran 60 frames on last-gen, it would run 120 frames this gen. So once you cut off that last gen, you're going to start seeing more and more stuff going into these games that make it more difficult to reach the 60 frames per second. That's not to say that we won't get 60 frame stuff. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, we're getting, we'll probably see some stuff all around, even from Sony, that's going to be like 30 frames per second. So that is a bit unfortunate, but there's a lot of people that are being very hypocritical about this, because I've said this numerous times as well. Microsoft is between a rock and a hard place. Everybody's saying, where's the games? So if Microsoft delays this game, they go, my Xbox has no games. If they, you know, if they rush the game out and it's not ready, people make fun of that too. Honestly, what can Microsoft do? This is a terrible big piece of timing on their end, unfortunately. And again, I think that this is something that needed to be fixed. And I'm hoping that Microsoft kind of sees the light, you know, when it comes down to this, because they're really kind of shooting themselves into the foot or whatever. You know what I mean? I just think that it's crazy to think that it's not happening the way that it is, and that, you know, Microsoft and a lot of people are really kind of shooting themselves in the foot for the future right now. Like, people are gonna, even though, like, and again, I see the hypocrisy, because with this game and with Starfield, let's say they score incredibly well, Metacritic and all that kind of stuff, and they're great games, people would go, well, Microsoft didn't have anything to do with that. But apparently Microsoft has everything to do with these games if they're delayed, or if they have something like this come up. So, you know, to me, it's like a lose-lose situation. And I hope that we see some kind of resolution to it soon. If I were Microsoft, I would step in and delay the game, try to make sure that, you know, it's a game that everybody can play, and play at a performance mode. You sold us a piece of hardware with expectations, and, you know, we expect you to kind of honor those expectations. So anyway, I'm curious to hear what everyone else thinks. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.